What's going on, everybody? It's Joe from This Kettlebell and Strength, and we're going to work on a pretty cool muscle. It's probably one of the most important muscles in you moving around all day. So basically, it's a combination of your soleus and your gastrocnemius. So let's just say your calves. Here's why it's one of my favorite muscles to work on and make sure that it's not stiff. Okay, so think about this. The gastrocnemius goes from all the way down here in that calf tendon, the Achilles tendon right there, up into the back of your femur. Okay, so if it's tense out here, this could be one possible problem that your knees are achy or tight, not just on the other side. Okay, so with the quads if they're overactive, but basically think about here, has this gastrocnemius reaches up into the upper leg from the back. So a lot of people say that they don't have range of motion. Their squats can be off. Of course, if you're not flexible, if you're not able to have proper dorsiflexion or even plantar flexion of your ankle, then think about this. You're not going to have a very, very good, let's see if we can get down here, squat, okay? But anyway, so let's talk about bikes for a second. And pretend this is a pedal that you are clipped in. So basically, as we go around, the ankle is staying the same, okay? The ankle doesn't change. So if we're clipped in here, it's not changing. The knee and the hip right there are going around and around and around. So think about that. Now, if you don't feel any difference, if you're trying to, say, foam roll your calves to increase range of motion, here's my favorite thing to do. And you can do this lying down. Basically, if you're on a foam roller, you're already stretched out. Say, here's the roller. You're stretched out and you're putting pressure. We want it to be as tight as it needs to be to get the job done, what you're doing. We don't want it to be tense all the time, okay? Much like it would be when you're going around in a spin in cycling right there. So anyway, what I like to do is I like to put obviously softer. So there's a tennis ball. You can use alpha balls or Jill Miller's yoga tune-up or stuff. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that under here. I'm going to work on soleus area first. I'm going to go side to side. And you can feel where that tension is, okay? So I'm trying to relax that, but look, it gives me a place, you can see, gives me a place to basically put my hips right down here, elevate, and now I also have all this room to manipulate my ankle, okay? So while I'm working on soleus, you can see it ready to roll over right there. It rolled right over that soleus. And I can work up higher and get into, let's see, there, gastrocnemius. So we got to have range of motion. We have to have those muscles working together. I'm going to get up, let's see, a little higher. There we go. There we go. So, and I could just hang out and I can manipulate my ankle in this position. I can find tender areas. And you can see as I roll over the gastroc, it'll clunk. And I'm pretty tight there. Clunk. There we go. So I'm going to work on that tissue and allow it to give us a little bit more range of motion. I'm pretty flexible in my ankles, but I have had plenty of ankle sprains and strains and stuff like that. But think about cycling. We're keeping this ankle locked as you pull up, as you cycle around, as you spin. So basically this tissue can stay pretty tense, okay? So if you're locking here and you're pushing around, I'm flexing and extending at the knee and the hip, but this isn't changing. So this can get really, really tight, okay? And also the tibialis on the opposite side is pulling, it's locking. So I get this really, really tight calf and lower leg area, which, back over here, can cause some knee issues just from having this lower leg really, really tight, because as we walk, then all of a sudden we're not flexing and extending at this ankle joint, and then the knee has to take up for it into the lower back and all that stuff. So, especially if you're riding bikes a lot, and we just want to have here's an interesting way that you can really, really get some more range of motion, using not a foam roller and using your couch and just giving yourself, here, check that out, have a whole bunch of range of motion all around. Just, look for what you might be missing, okay? If I'm squatting down, I can put my heels together and keep my butt near. So I have a lot of range of motion in my ankles, okay? So I want to keep that no matter what I do. If I'm cycling a lot, I want to be able to have that. It's hard to do this myself, but they work together, but they can't be doing the same thing, okay? So they're going to help stabilize the joint above the knee if they're working together. So medial and lateral gastrocnemius, there's a lot of things you can do for that, but I think just using tennis balls, if you say you don't feel anything with a foam roller, or if you don't have time for a massage or someone to do some manual therapy on you, this is a pretty quick way. Don't go out of like a 6 or 7 on a pain scale out of 10. You're not looking for cutting off circulation. You're not looking for numbness, all that stuff. Just search around, start with a softer ball before anything, and then see where you get to from there.